Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered today on the traditional unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. My name is Joelle Paquette, and I am the Acting Associate Assistant Deputy Minister of the Procurement Branch. Joining me today is Clinton Lawrence White, Director General of Procurement Assistance Canada, which offers direct support to businesses on how to participate in federal procurement. Le gouvernement du Canada s'est engagé à assurer la réconciliation.
The Government of Canada is committed to economic reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, and as part of this commitment, will continue to promote increased opportunities for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis participation and inclusion through the federal procurement process.
Thank the committee for inviting us today to speak on Public Services and Procurement Canada's efforts to deliver on its Indigenous procurement commitment to award a minimum of 5% of the total value of PSPC contracts to Indigenous businesses by the end of fiscal year 2024-2025. Mr. Chair, I want to highlight that this is a government target where the Treasury Board Secretariat, or TBS, and Indigenous Services Canada, or ISC, play essential and distinct roles. It is essential for PSPC to follow the rules set by both organizations in its effort to meet the 5% target. TBS is responsible for setting Government of Canada policies, and on this file have provided clear direction that what counts towards the 5% are contracts with firms that are included on the Indigenous Business Directory. Service aux Autochtones Canada est chargé de
Indigenous Services Canada, on the other hand, is responsible for implementing and advising on the procurement strategy for Indigenous businesses, business program, including verifying the eligibility of businesses receiving contracts under PSIB.
Service aux Autochtones Canada.
Indigenous Services Canada, on the other hand, is responsible for implementing and advising on the procurement strategy for Indigenous business program, including verifying the eligibility of businesses receiving contracts under PSIB and maintaining the integrity of the Indigenous Business Directory.
ISC is responsible for the PSIB's eligibility criteria, including verifying, certifying, and auditing Indigenous businesses listed on the IBD, thus ensuring that only firms that are entitled to these contracts receive them. ISC continues to actively work with Indigenous partners to co-develop a new transformative Indigenous procurement strategy that will improve procurement policies, safeguards, and processes for Indigenous businesses. Conformément à la directive du Conseil du
As per the Treasury Board Directive on the Management of Procurement, PSPC is responsible for developing operational tools to support procurement undertaken on behalf of other government departments, such as guidance, templates, and standard contract clauses. This responsibility includes developing tools to assist the Government of Canada.
Conformément à la directive
As per the Treasury Board Directive on the Management of Procurement, PSPC is responsible for developing operational tools to support procurement undertaken on behalf of other government departments, such as guidance, templates, and standard contract clauses. This responsibility includes developing tools to assist the Government of Canada in its effort to increase participation of Indigenous businesses in federal procurement.
In fiscal year 2022-2023, PSPC awarded 2.7%, or $139 million, of the total value of its procurements to Indigenous businesses, and in fiscal year 2023-2024, PSPC awarded 3.4%, or $143 million, of the total value of its procurement to Indigenous businesses. As PSPC has not met its objective, various ongoing and planned activities are underway to progress and sustain the 5% target. The department has undertaken extensive engagement initiatives with Indigenous partners to highlight Indigenous procurement opportunities and outline the support available through Procurement Assistance Canada. Au cours de l'exercice 2023,
During the 2023-2024 fiscal year, PSPC, through Procurement Assistance Canada, hosted or took part in over 524 events tailored towards enabling Indigenous-owned and led businesses to participate in federal procurement. We participated in 4 Indigenous business information sessions that brought together Indigenous businesses, communities, and associations to increase Indigenous participation in federal procurement and highlight Indigenous procurement opportunities and support available through Government of Canada programs and services.
PAC's outreach and engagement efforts continue to support Indigenous businesses and communities by helping them understand federal procurement and the opportunities available. PAC also participates in various remote community events, helping spread awareness and support to Indigenous communities throughout Canada with the goal to support economic development. PAC also assists Indigenous communities with navigating the procurement process and sharing tools available to Indigenous groups. PAC also partnered with the Nunavut Economic Development Association for a mentorship program. This program is focused on Inuit business owners interested in federal procurement. Ces efforts concrets de sensibilisation.
These concrete outreach efforts will enable PSPC to drive economic reconciliation, create jobs in Indigenous communities, develop the expertise and skill sets needed for their success, and foster the next generation of Indigenous entrepreneurs from coast to coast to coast.